1. The Magic Eye. Back in the mid-1990s, men, women, and children would spend hours staring into books that contained nothing but pages and pages of brightly colored psychedelic patterns. They had been promised that if they looked hard enough, these pictures would jump into life as 3D images came shooting out toward them. For most people, it happened if they stared for long enough. But there were also many who used to end up tearing their hair out in frustration when the images never appeared. For a while, Magic Eye books were all the rage. The images also appeared in magazines, on postcards, on mouse pads, and even on men's ties. They were also featured in episodes of top TV shows such as Friends and The Simpsons. The secret behind the images is a horizontally repeating pattern that is slightly different each time it is repeated. This creates an illusion of depth when the eye focuses on different parts of it. Like all crazes, the Magic Eye craze was soon over. The images are now used by eye doctors to help in the treatment of problems such as binocular vision. 2. Pac-Man. While children these days spend hours playing the latest sophisticated games on their computers, consoles, and TV sets, it's worth remembering the kind of electronic games that were in when their parents were young. Back in the early 1980s, children used to line up in video arcades eagerly waiting for their turn to put a quarter in the machine and play a game of Pac-Man. Pac-Man was a yellow circle with a cheese-shaped wedge missing, and you had to steer him around a maze of dots until you had eaten all the dots up. The whole time, you were being chased by 4 ghosts that even had names, and if they caught you, that was game over. However, if you ate one of the 4 power pellets found in each of the corners of the maze, you could turn the tables for a while and eat the ghosts for maximum point scoring. Created by a Japanese video game designer, Toru Iwatani, who used to be a designer for the Namco software company, Pac-Man became one of the most famous and addictive of the original arcade video games. It is still loved today all over the world. 3. Yo-yos. There can't be many toys that have been around as long as the yo-yo. Early examples have been discovered in Greece and date from around 500 BC. In the 16th century, the yo-yo was used as both a toy and a hunting weapon in the Philippines, and by the 17th century, it had caught on in many European countries. In 1928, a Filipino-American called Pedro Flores started the first yo-yo factory in the U.S., but it was an American businessman, Donald Duncan, who saw the great potential of the toy. He bought the factory from Flores, and by 1962, he had sold 65 million yo-yos in a country that had only 40 million children. Although the yo-yo had its heyday back in the 1950s, it is a toy that regularly finds itself back in fashion. And each year, various yo-yo competitions are held all over the world. Like the toy itself, the yo-yo fad is one that keeps bouncing back.